Hey there, it's Mackenzie here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm answering the question, how do I get a job as an international student or graduate? And I'm answering this question because I get asked this question all the time, and for good reason. For international students and graduates, it can be quite difficult to land internships and jobs. So I'm going to answer this question for you today, and I'm going to try and give you some tips and tricks you can use to get better results with your job search. And before we get started, why should you watch this? You should watch this if you're an international student or graduate, you're looking for a job, and you're finding this process a bit difficult. And why should you listen to me? Well, I've helped my clients to land over 120 job and internship offers across a range of different industries like business, IT, and engineering. Personally, I've also got over 4 years of consulting and startup experience at companies like KPMG and Uber. I landed 6 internships and 3 jobs during university, so I have quite a bit of experience with internships, etc. I've also had a bit of experience hiring and managing over 20 people. And on top of that, a large portion of my clients are international, a very large portion. So on top of the standard job search strategies that you're going to be using, and there are some great strategies you can use, and you may not even have to use these hacks. But on top of these, there are 4 hacks. Okay, there are 4 big hacks you can use to boost your chances if you're an international student or an international graduate. So let's work through them. Hack 1. I call this one follow a proven pathway. What does this mean? Well, as an international student or graduate, you have a couple of things to deal with that students with, permanent residence don't have to deal with. For example, visa constraints. You might not have a permanent residency. You might be on a student visa or a bridging visa, etc. And this can make things difficult because a lot of people who are hiring, employers, they look for permanent residents. So you need a way to get around that. But also there are inbuilt hiring biases when you're going through that hiring process. It is really sad to say, but it just is the case. I've noticed it. And it's something that you have to work with. So you have to deal with these 2 extra things. So one hack you can implement on top of using, trial and error with your job search is to find a proven pathway that works for you. So how do you do that? Well, one way of doing it, in fact, let me just walk you through my process, is first to find international students or graduates who have already landed the job or the internship you want. And a way to do this is go on LinkedIn, you can look on websites, you might even know someone personally. Look for people who have already done it. Because if they can do it, and quite recently, if they've done it quite recently, you can probably do it too. So that's the first thing. You have to find those people. And don't worry about whether those companies are hiring or not. Just try to find those proven pathways. What have people who are international students or graduates done to get those results? Step 2 is analyze trends. So for example, you can look at all of these people who have landed those jobs you want and figure out specifically which organizations are hiring people who have, for example, they don't have permanent residence. Which companies are hiring international students and graduates? What kind of positions are they getting? What kind of industries are they working in? You're trying to look for these trends so you can kind of hop onto these trends and follow a proven pathway through. The third step is, you don't have to do this, but a great way of getting insight is to actually talk to these people. So if you can even chat, even through LinkedIn or an email, or even a phone chat or Zoom chat if you can, chat to these people and gather some insights, see what they did, figure out a little bit more about their story and what they did. 4, note down these organizations and types of jobs that you can target with a high probability of success because it's possible and people have already done it. Then all you have to do, once you know what this proven process is, then all you have to do is target them directly. And you don't have to rely on job adverts. You might find job adverts for these companies and positions, but you don't have to rely on them. You can, and like I've mentioned in other videos, you can get jobs without applying online. And last time I checked the numbers, about 40% of the job and internship offers that my clients get are hidden. So they're never applying online. They're more finding the companies, building relationships, and using the right techniques and strategies to build relationships and to create opportunities and get jobs that way. So that's how you can use a proven pathway. It is incredibly effective. Hack 2. Find international student or graduate founders. And this is quite similar to hack 1, but it's a little bit different because lots of international students or graduates eventually will go on to create organizations themselves. You might see a small accounting firm that's run by someone who used to be, an international student, or a startup, or a big company. There's a whole range of them out there. So if you can find founders who know the struggle, they know what you've been through, they've been there, done that, you have a high chance of getting through. And they might be able to offer you the opportunities that you want. So how can you get jobs here? It's really, really simple, kind of similar to hack 1. Search LinkedIn to find these founders, people who have created these organizations, and then simply target them directly. You don't have to rely on advertised jobs, although you can do it that way. You can just message them directly, understand their story, etc. Really big hack here. Okay, so let's go on to hack 3. Hack 3, and this isn't really the terminology that I use, but most clients that I work with who are international students or graduates, they tend to use the term home country. And what this usually means is, the country you were born in or you've kind of traveled from to study this degree as an international student. So what does this mean? Hack 3 is find organizations linked to your home country in some way. So the easiest way to explain this is to give you a couple of examples and it would make sense. So one of my clients, she was of a specific background from a specific country, and she really wanted to break into this certain industry, this finance, specific kind of niche finance industry. And so she was looking for a range of different organizations, and eventually she came across one that was perfect for her. And it was perfect because it was linked to her home country. This organization was based in Australia, but they were run by Indonesians, and they also had kind of one foot in Indonesia, one foot in Australia. So they actually needed someone who was bilingual in Indonesian and could speak English very well, who was also based in Australia and who had a quality background. And so because this organization was linked to the home country, this person was at a massive advantage because they were from Indonesia. They also lived locally and they were bilingual. They had the right kind of skill set, and boom, they got the offer ahead of tons of other applicants. Okay, so if you can find an organization that kind of, it's based in your, the place you want to get the job, but it's also linked to your, your home country in some way, whether they are international, whether they hire those kind of people, whether they have, they speak the same language, whatever it is. Find some sort of connection, then you can really boost your chances there because you actually become much more valuable than other candidates because you're combining your special kind of skill set and your background to get those roles. And I'll give you one more example to illustrate this. So one of my clients also got a similar role, is more so in the IT space. And again, this organization actually worked closely with this person's home country. And I think they actually had staff in both countries. So they needed people to communicate between Australia and this country. So naturally, this person was a perfect selection for an IT role. So because this person was, again, like this other person I mentioned, because they were able to find an organization that was linked to their home country, they were able to get a job. And it actually was at their advantage because they became instantly one of the best candidates because they had the advantage. They knew both types of cultures really well. So that's a really, really big hack. Works very well. And the last hack I'll mention, and it's not really a hack, it's just a bit of a tip and a bit of a misconception actually. I think it's really important to mention international experience on your resume. And this is contradictory to what a lot of people will say, but as an international student or a graduate, you often have really valuable international experience. You might have IT experience or accounting experience or consulting experience, whatever it is, analyst experience. And a lot of international students and graduates I speak to, they won't put it on their resume because they don't think it's valuable, but it really, really is valuable. Okay, a lot of people I meet, they just remove it. They don't think it adds value, but it really does. So how do you do this? It's really, really simple. Treat this experience as if it were any other experience. Don't devalue it in any way. Include this on your resume. And another thing that people don't often understand is your resume often contains a lot of information that doesn't have to be on there. For example, in your resume, you don't have to put the location of where you worked. In fact, a lot of people I work with, and me personally, don't put the location of the job on their resume. So when you say write a really good company on your resume, you don't have to say it was in this country. You can just put it on there. And then people will often be less biased towards that. You want to remove any potential bias from your resume. Very, very powerful tip. What I find often is when people start valuing this experience and they start putting it on their resume, being proud of it, talking about it in their interview, they get much, much better results. So they are my 4 hacks for getting jobs if you're an international student or graduate, on top of whatever job search strategies you're using that might just help you to create that opportunity that you need to get successful. I hope that was really, really helpful for you guys, and I really wish you the best of luck with this. If you're looking for more free content, or you'd like to work together to land your dream job, you'd like to work with me, please check out mygradjobs.com.au. Good luck. Thank you. Thanks for watching. See ya.